All right, today we're jumping into something pretty wild. A theory that flips centuries of tradition on its head when it comes to one of the world's most sacred places. And it all boils down to one single, really provocative question.
Yeah, what if? What if that place millions and millions of people see as the biblical Mount Zion is actually in the wrong spot? That's the core idea behind the material we're digging into today. This argument that the real Zion has been hiding in plain sight, misidentified for ages.
So where does this whole argument even begin? Well, it starts with a really simple, stark comparison. You've got the traditional site in Jerusalem, which, geographically, is a hill. It's about 765 meters high. Then you've got Mount Hermon, and this thing is a beast. It's a massive, multi-peaked mountain soaring to over 2,800 meters. The source we're looking at says this difference, hill versus mountain, isn't just a detail. It's totally crucial and completely intentional in the Bible.
And that brings us right to the main point, the central thesis of this whole thing. The place we call Mount Zion is basically a case of mistaken identity. The real holy mountain, God's actual chosen dwelling place, is Mount Hermon. Now I know what you're thinking. That's a huge claim. So, what's the evidence? Okay, let's dive into that. To really get this, we've got to look at the scriptural evidence. The author lays it all out, building the case one piece, one verse at a time.
So the first clue is all about the words being used. The author points out that the Bible seems to be incredibly specific. The spot in Jerusalem, it's consistently called a hill. But the true Zion, that's always called a mountain. And the argument here is that this isn't just geography. It's a deliberate, theological point being made.
And check this out. This verse from Psalms is presented as a key piece of the puzzle. See how it separates the roles? Mountains bring peace, but hills bring justice. The source says this is more proof that we're talking about two different places with two very different jobs.
And the case just keeps building from there. The author then points to other verses where Zion and Jerusalem aren't treated as the same place at all. Instead, they're listed right next to each other, almost like they're partners, two separate, distinct locations for deliverance.
And this is where the language gets really interesting, right? The phrasing is in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem. The argument is that this isn't just repeating for emphasis. That "and" is a huge deal. It's a clear signal that these are two different, though connected, places.
Okay, but the next piece of evidence, this is what the source presents as the real smoking gun, the linchpin of the whole argument. It's a verse that seems to draw a direct line connecting Zion and Hermon. Take a look. The key, the absolute key, is that little parenthetical note. That is, Hermon. For the author, this isn't some side comment or a footnote. No way. This is the Bible itself making a direct equation. Mount Zion, which is just another way to spell Zion, is Mount Hermon. So if Zion is really Hermon, what's the big deal? What does that actually change? Well, according to this text, it changes pretty much everything. Once you pinpoint this new location, the source says you have to re-examine the whole prophetic role of the Holy Mountain, not just in the past, but across all of time.
And this timeline, wow, it paints a seriously dramatic history for Mount Hermon. According to this interpretation, this is the spot where fallen angels first touched down on earth. It's where Jesus was transfigured. It's the future site where a veil of unbelief covering the whole world will be destroyed. And yeah, it's the place that will eventually become the center of a new kingdom on earth. That's a heck of a resume.
And that moment, the Transfiguration, is presented as absolutely pivotal. When Peter calls the place the Holy Mount, the argument is he's not just using a nice adjective, he's making a declaration. He's confirming that this place, Mount Hermon, is the one true holy mountain, not the hill back in Jerusalem.
So this whole reinterpretation isn't just about rewriting the past. It also casts a completely new vision for the future, a pretty radical one, in fact, and it's all centered on this new Zion.
And to explain the logic here, the author brings up that famous parable about new wine and old wineskins. You know the one. The idea is that this new kingdom is the new wine. It's something so new, so powerful, it just can't be poured into the old wineskin of the current Jerusalem. It would just burst. It needs something new, a new place, and a new people.
And this is the picture that's painted of that new world. Imagine this, a new capital city, the new Jerusalem, literally descending onto a great and high mountain. There's no sun or moon because it's lit by divine glory. The people there, all righteous, purified, no more sorrow, no more hunger, no more death.
And on top of all that, there's a protective cloud providing shelter 24/7.
But getting to this new world, well, the text says it's not going to be easy. It's not a simple transition. It actually involves a massive cataclysm. The author cites the prophet Zechariah, saying that only 1/3 of the entire world's population will make it through a Great Tribulation to even see this new kingdom.
Okay, so what's the bottom line here? If you follow this whole line of thinking to its conclusion, what does it all mean? What are the real implications?
Really, the ultimate message from this source is a call for a massive shift in focus. It's arguing that people should be looking away from the hill in Jerusalem and turning their attention to Mount Hermon, seeing it as the true epicenter of God's plan for the world, for the past, the present, and the future.
At the end of the day, what this text gives us is a really detailed alternative vision of, well, of everything: theology, geography, prophecy. And look, whether you buy the argument or not, it really does make you think. It brings up this really powerful question about how we even understand our most secret stories. Just how much can our interpretation of these ancient texts actually shape the reality we live in? It's definitely something to chew on.